Right, kids, help me welcome that. ...2015 NBA playoff series between a local team here in Northern California, the Golden State Warriors, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, this is game 3. New Orleans has won, I'm sorry, Golden State's won the first 2 games. So this is a must-win game for New Orleans. In New Orleans, Golden State's on the road and they're down by 20. There's a little bit of urgency for New Orleans, so they're playing hard. They're up 20 points. And if you haven't watched any NBA playoff basketball, it's pretty intense. It's an intense game. You know, both teams are playing really hard. It's, you know, win or go home mentality. And so coming back from a 20-point deficit is not an easy task. And to make a long story short, our local team, the Golden State Warriors, with the help of a star player of theirs, Steph Curry, came back to win this game. Not only win this game, but win the NBA championship last year. And I've got a little photo of one of the shots. This is the shot that put the game into overtime by Steph Curry. And if you don't know him, if you don't follow basketball, the guy is an amazing shooter. And this shot right here, some might argue that it was luck, some might say that it was just natural ability, or some might tell you it has something to do with practice. Fellow Toastmasters, I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about practice. This highlight here that we see in the picture, where he's falling away, he's got his eyes closed. And he's got 3 or 4 defenders that are 6'10" in his face with their arms stretched out. And a lot of attention, especially the media coverage of, you know, Steph Curry's great shooting ability and this shot where he had his eyes closed. A lot of attention was on the fact that he had his eyes closed. What didn't get as much attention is what happened that week in practice. See, that week in practice, Steph Curry, you can imagine, the guy's a professional basketball player. He's going to practice. He's going to take a lot of shots. And for anybody who shot an NBA three-pointer, making one NBA three-pointer is a feat for somebody like me or Mark. Yeah. Making 2 in a row is good. He made 77 straight threes in practice that week. 77. That is amazing. And so what that demonstrates is that when he takes a shot like this, and ESPN shows a highlight of him with his eyes closed, it was not that it was, you know, a miraculous shot that he had, you know, made that night. It was a matter of, you know, he has the muscle memory and whatnot built up from practice. He had just done it 77 times in a row in practice. And so what I'm getting to is that whether it's basketball, whether it's business, whether it's family life, practice, in my opinion, is more important than the natural ability, more important than, you know, getting lucky, more important than anything. And, you know, on the topic of natural ability, sure, some folks are more athletic than others, and sure, some people might have a leg up, but he wouldn't have got to the position he's in today, and he wouldn't continue to be excelling if it wasn't for his work ethic and the practice that he's put in. If you've seen a recent commercial on ESPN, it's Steph Curry reading his 2009 scouting report when he was going into the NBA. He played basketball his whole life. His brothers and sisters had played basketball. His dad had played basketball. So this was his passion. And he's 6'3", 185 pounds. He's not a huge guy in the NBA, but he's reading this report in a commercial, because now that he's an NBA champion, they're looking back on some of the things that were said about him, and not everybody had these big aspirations for Steph Curry. In this scouting report, they talked about that his explosiveness and athleticism were substandard. He needs to improve as a ball handler. He's going to have limited success at the next level in the NBA, and to not rely on him to run your team. Well, the Golden State Warriors did pretty well last year, relying on him to run the team. They won the championship. He just, in the last couple weeks, got voted league MVP for the 2nd year in a row. And what my personal opinion is that it has a lot to do with practice. It has a lot to do with the hours and hours in the gym. In 2009, he was too small, he wasn't fast enough, he wasn't athletic enough, but he had work ethic. He'd done it his whole life, and this is something that he wanted more than anything. And so, in this club, Mark's talked about the 1,000-hour rule, about practice. I like to find examples from sports or from other things to, think about, my life in business, my life as a father, my life, in other areas. And so what I'd like to leave you with is that, if you've got anything you'd like to accomplish in life, what might the scouting report say? What might the scout say? Matt grew up son of a truck driver in a poor household. He might need to improve as a speaker. He might lack in this area of business, but that's not the whole story. If you're willing to put in the practice and shoot three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer, or run scenario after scenario after scenario of mortgage reports, anything's possible with a little bit of practice. Thanks.